Hey everybody, it's Rachel Ballard with Feast and Farm Cooks, and today we are out of the kitchen because a few of you have asked me, what does my farm look like? What goes on here? What do we grow? What do we do? So today I'm going to give you a quick little tour of what happens here on our beef cattle operation, which is not very big. I mean, for some of you all, it'll probably seem huge, but for a lot of others, it's very, very small. So we live on about 26 acres, which is not very much. I grew up on much more than that, and so did my husband, but it's all we can really manage right now. So we'll start out. I'm going to give you a little tour of the pastures and our cattle, and then we'll go up to the house and I'll show you what kind of crops we grow and that sort of thing, and we'll move on from there. We don't have any neighbors within yelling distance anywhere, really. If I tried really hard, I might be able to get somebody's attention, but for the most part, there aren't any people around, and we love it like that. So this is part of our cattle herd. It's evening, and they're kind of moving to wherever they're going to go to bed tonight, and so they're just around. But we do raise Black Angus cattle here on our farm. And for those of you who are interested in the whole grass-fed, grain-fed thing, we do raise grain-fed cattle, and you can tell that they're just really super happy out here, enjoying their green grass and their happy evenings. So we have had more cattle on our farm than this at some points, but right now this is all we're running. It's all we've got time for, and when we have time for more, we will add to our herd. This is the cow lot, what we call it, or the working area, the staging area, when we work with our cattle. If they need, when they come up to eat, if they're going to come for their grain or whatever, they're going to come up here to eat it, and so they're going to have their troughs in there. And then that big red thing is our head catch, the head chute that we bought a few years ago. I bought it, and I say it was the best purchase I have ever made for our farm, because prior to this we just did not have a good way to work our cattle, and I have been bruised up and pooped on enough that I just finally decided that that was it, and I went out and bought him a really nice head catch so that our cattle can be worked safely and properly, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful investment. So as far as what we grow here on our farm, we do a lot of, fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. These are some of our apple trees. We put these out, goodness, probably a decade ago. This is a Red Delicious that got blown over in the wind, but it's still alive. So we keep hanging on to her. As long as she's going to hang on, we're going to keep her. And it's got a load of apples on it. These aren't going to be ready for a while. And then if you come this way, I will show you this one. So this is a Lodi. And the Lodi this is a heritage apple tree, so these are really an old variety of apple. They're usually ready in June, but they're probably going to be a few weeks late this year. I haven't sprayed these just because I've been a little bit lazy, but I try to get them sprayed if we need to so that we can get a better yield on them. I will freeze these. They're wonderful for drying. They're wonderful for dried apple pies, anything like that. So this one's one of my favorites. And then on the other side, I have a McIntosh. And then as far as berries go, we have a few here and a few in some other areas on the farm. But this is the first section of my blackberries. And this is the Arapaho is the name of this blackberry. And it's a tame one, so not everybody loves a tame berry. They don't like the seeds, but I don't mind them. And these have these big arching branches that come down, and they will re-root in the ground just from, as soon as they land on the ground, they're gonna wanna re-root. So this one's really nice. I have one that's called a Navajo. It's an older variety my dad gave me many years ago, and those have kind of faded away. So these are my raised beds that my husband built for me this year. And this is where I'm keeping everything that is smaller or a little more delicate. We were really working hard to keep the rabbits out of everything. I tried some raised beds last year, and they ate everything I had. It was so sad. So I have about 100 square feet in here, so I can grow a lot of stuff. And my goal is to rotate everything through. As something is finished, I'm going to put something back in its place. And my secondary goal, the better goal, was to try to grow whole ingredients that I could make entire recipes from. So pasta sauces and vegetable soups and vegetable broth bases and that sort of things that I could pressure can and have on hand to expand into other recipes later. So this is more of a culinary garden. So if you want to come in and take a look at it with me. So everything still has to fill in. It's still a new garden, but I've got mostly it's herbs and of course parsleys and basils, sage. All of these will be dried and saved for my own homemade Italian seasonings and that sort of thing. Cherry tomatoes in the corner for the kids to pick on. On this side, we've got lettuces. This is iceberg. It's not a head lettuce. It's a leaf lettuce version, but it's delicious, and I've been harvesting that. We've got all kinds of snap peas and peppers. I have some echinacea down here. I love to grow this for its immune modulating properties, and so this one is a really nice herbal remedy. We've got leeks, carrots. Again, I planned everything around what I knew we would eat and what I knew we would enjoy. So I'll harvest these in cycles, and then I'll be able to process them and put them away for later. We've got tomatoes that I grow, all organic heirloom tomatoes. I have 2 large ones here and 42 more in the main garden, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Some celery, which looks terrible when you transplant it. It is the worst looking stuff, but it bounces back, and you can see here that I've got a few that are starting to bounce back. Celery is really, really fiddly to grow. So that one's been a real challenge for me, but it's gonna be fine, I think. I have some shallots, peppers. In the back corner, we've got some lemon balm. That's gonna spread a little bit. That's wonderful for alertness and focus, and some people use it for thyroid function. You have to be careful with it for that, but it makes a lovely tea. We've got flowers coming up in here too, and then I've got some strawberries. This is their first year out, so you try not to have them grow any strawberries in their first year. They just need to sit here and put out roots. So that's what they're doing, and they're covered up with some netting to keep the birds out of them, and they're doing great. So let's head up to the barn, and I'm going to show you what's in my garden up there. This is our main garden where the bigger things go. So in here I have an additional 42 heirloom tomato plants. I grew these with my milk jug sowing method, which if you haven't seen that video, I can leave you a link to it if you'd like to take a look at it. But it's very, very simple, and you'll notice how much rock is in here, how much gravel is in here. This section of our farm actually used to be an old road bed, and because of that, we have grown potatoes in this area before, but never had our whole garden here, and everything just yielded really, really well because that rock is kind of breaking down, adding some minerals to the soil. So we thought we'd just put the whole garden here this year. So we've got the tomatoes here, and we're keeping the rabbits out again with the fence, but we'll take that down before long. And then down here, whoopsie, as I fall down, not everything is up yet. Again, like I said, it's all still really small and starting out, but we've got watermelons and those sorts of things, and then I've got an assortment of beans. These are what we call, I have a couple of rows of what's called a refugee bean, and then I have a couple more that are what we call a Miss Ollie bean. They're just heritage heirloom beans, and we have no idea where they came from. The seeds were passed down by my mom. She got them from somebody else. The Miss Ollie bean was raised by a lady named Miss Ollie. And so I really don't know where they came from. They're a non-hybridized bean, so you have to save your seeds over if you want to have any for next year. And then on the end are our potatoes, so those are growing down there, and I've got some squash and zucchini and that sort of thing. And we've got some okra out, just a lot of different stuff going on that way. So this is the main garden. It'll take care of the big stuff. And then this is my dwarf cherry tree. I am going to can these cherries. They're not like the ones you get at the grocery store that are big and super sweet. These are really, really tart and just extremely sour. But they're wonderful for canning and for freezing and having for pies and cobblers and that sort of thing. They take a lot of sugar if you want to sweeten them up for much, but they are delicious. And so I will probably be picking these in the next day or two. And we have them netted to keep the birds out, but they are a great part of what we grow here. Here's my son. Of course, we have our dogs. This is our dog Zoomer, and then we have a border collie who's down at the house. And this is our dog Smiley. He's been a little sick off and on in his life, so mostly he likes to just lay on the sidewalk and rest, and we love on him, and he's happy. Sometimes you'll see me film introductions to videos from this angle. A lot of you have asked about this part. So we just mowed all of this for hay, and when we started the video, we were way down there at the mailbox in the middle there. That's the end of our driveway. So this is the front of our farm out the front door. This is what I get to see every day, which is certainly a wonderful view. And the cows are in the pasture there beyond the driveway. And this whole section gets mowed for hay right now. And then eventually my children have big dreams of putting some feeder steers in here and buying some cattle, you know, reselling them, that kind of thing, making a little profit on them. So hopefully that'll work out for them. But this is a great view to have every day. Can't ask for anything better than this. So certainly, certainly blessed. Thanks for joining me on the farm today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what we have here, what we grow. Let me know what questions you have about what we do here on our farm, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.